guys, what is going on? Blops is back. Welcome back to another episode of Top Drives. Now, about a week ago, we saw, well, the splash screen change to French, no, not French Renaissance, but French Riviera, right? The new and upcoming update coming to Top Drives. And when that first showed up, obviously, I gave you my very honest, very blunt, and very immediate reactions to it, right? I'm not interested in the update. In fact, I called it trash. I didn't like it, wasn't interested, wasn't gonna do any content about it, all that kind of stuff. Which, honestly, that's just like the instant reaction to it, right? I'm still not interested in the update, to be honest. But a lot of people in the comments, mainly the Europeans, were saying, oh, Blossom, you're wrong. It's gonna be a great update, and here's why, blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm never gonna understand. I'm really never gonna truly understand. But there was someone in the comments that I did talk to who was very passionate about, in particular, the splash screen car, which is the French Riviera, the Renault 5, right? And he was saying that, you know, it's a really great car. He actually owns one, and here's why, yada, yada, yada. And I thought, you know what, that's pretty interesting. Let's invite him onto the channel and let him represent the enthusiasm of not only the Renault 5, but the incoming update as well, because obviously I'm not going to be a great representation of that. I'm not interested in the cars coming, but there are going to be people out there that will be interested in it, and today we've invited him onto the channel. So without further ado, guys, let's move on to that clip. All right, so guys, special little segment. I don't think I've done anything like this on the YouTube channel before, but I have invited a special guest over that I actually found someone in my comments that actually drove the very car that's on the thumbnail of the next update, which I think is really, really interesting. So I do want to shout out to the guy because he did agree to come onto the channel. We do have him here today. He did tell me earlier how to pronounce his name correctly. I'm going to try this again, but I might botch it as always. So as always, welcome to the channel, Malta.
Thank you. Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So you are, well, I would say a passionate owner of a Renault 5, right? Which is the same car in the thumbnail, is that true?
Yeah, except it's yellow. Mine is yellow, but yeah, it's the exact model. Yeah.
Is the one in the screen not yellow?
Not when you log into the game.
Oh,
it's
that's green, isn't it?
Yeah, it's green.
But you've seen the new trailer that they released, right? So the actual car photo is that the same color?
Yeah, it's the same color, yellow with the black roof. Yeah.
Black roof, same rims?
No, I have the top trim level rims. They're different. I think they look better than the ones that are used in the photo, actually.
That's very interesting. Well, I'm glad that you're here on the channel, right? Because, like, this is going to be great as well. Because the thing is, if I just did the videos by myself, I like to be honest when it comes to talking about anything. And I'm very upfront, I'm very forward, right? I'm not interested in the cars that they're bringing, at least right now. But if there's any chance for you to change my mind, now is the time to do so. So, the Renault 5, it's a new car, right? 2025. Is this a recent purchase of yours?
Yeah, I ordered it back in January, and I got it like a little over a month ago. I'm loving it. It's great. That's
cool. That's cool. See, from my part of the world, right, where I grew up, we don't have Renaults there, right? We don't have a lot of hatchbacks, right? So I'm not used to these kind of cars, and I feel like, you know, when you get an update like the French Riviera, for example, and it's so centric over one brand, and I think that's actually kind of crazy. It's just one brand. I mean, yes, there's Alpine, but Renault and Alpine are under the same roof, if I remember correct. Am I correct on that? They are, right?
Yeah, Alpine is like their sports brand.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like, you know, it's like if we had an update that was just Chevrolet, which honestly, I think it was American Overdrive that was pretty similar. I think American Overdrive only had a couple of brands. I think it was Chevrolet and Cadillac. So how did that feel for you when American Overdrive came into the game? Because I don't think there are a lot of Cadillacs and Chevrolets in Denmark, right?
There used to be, but they stopped selling Chevrolets here in like 10 years ago. So it's been a while. Yeah, you don't see a lot of them anymore.
Yeah, that's interesting. So when an update like that comes, you know, into the game, from your perspective, since that you lived in Europe, you know, how does it feel? Do you feel bored? You know, do you feel like, oh wow, I'm gonna wait 3 more months for another update, or how do you approach the situation? Are you enthusiastic about it?
I like a lot of cars, so I'm just usually not like totally uninterested in everything, but there's types of cars I'm usually not very interested in, and with a lot of these American updates, there's a lot of trucks they add, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not excited for trucks. I don't care for them. A lot of them are so big they can't even fit on European roads, really. So you don't see them here at all.
Yeah, that's fantastic that you said that, right? Because it gives you a perspective of how different it is on the other side. So for us, or for me, I guess, it's like, it's so weird to see all these little Renaults, these little hatchbacks, because from your perspective, our cars are so big, they don't fit on the roads. From our perspective, your cars are so small. And like they look like little clown cars on the highway, you know, because we're so used to our GMC Yukon Denali's and Chevy Tahoes and Suburbans and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I gotta say that I would say that I'm more on the radical spectrum. Like when I see an update full of cars that I don't know about, I just, you know, completely disassociate. I think the other reason on why I was so angry when I found out the next update was French Renaissance, not French Renaissance, but French Riviera, was because I think we've already had quite a decent amount of updates that were centered around Europe, not Europe, but France, right? I think it was like European New Wave, European Revolution a few years ago. There was the French Renaissance many years ago as well. And it's always just like a different set of French cars, whether it be Citroen or Renault or Peugeot. And I guess another reason why I was really annoyed was because, and now we're going to talk from like a European car standpoint, because there are many European cars that are sold in the States, even though they're not Renault or Citroen or anything like that. You know, think about BMW or Audi and Mercedes. And I'm a huge Mercedes fan. I absolutely love the brand. And that is, you know, a brand that hasn't been touched almost ever. Mercedes was one of the starting manufacturers in the game back in 2017 when it launched. Had a small little revamp of about 30 cars during World Expo, but it wasn't the main, you know, the main meat and potatoes, right? I think World Expo, the biggest brands to really flourish from that was probably like Audi and BMW that came afterwards and entered Black Forest, but Mercedes didn't get really much. So I guess from my perspective, when I saw another update, just another French update of all things as well, you know, considering that we already had so many French updates, you know, having another French update, no Mercedes, that just really pissed me off. But hey, you know what? You're excited, right? You're excited for what's coming.
Some of it, yeah. I'm not really like super enthusiastic about French cars in general. Like, I like French cars. I think they have a lot of charm to them, but I was like, okay, French update. We just had French cars in the last European update, like a bunch of Peugeots. But I'm most excited about my car coming into the game. That's the most exciting part of that whole update for me, that my car is getting into the game.
I mean, honestly, that is something that I think every player wants, especially if they own a car, right? I mean, how does it feel that not only is your car in the game, but it's the thumbnail car, man? Like, how do you feel about that?
I think that's pretty cool, yeah, when I saw that.
See, I don't want to be a jerk. I think it's cool for you that your car is the thumbnail. But like, okay, think about it from a, I don't know, like maybe a business or promotion perspective, right? Do you think that your car is the best car to be the thumbnail for this update? So when you think about French Riviera, the first car that you want to put in, Renault 5, you think that's the best car that they could choose over, like, I don't know, an Alpine 110 or maybe even a Bugatti? I don't know, I see a lot of people saying that they might bring Bugatti in this update because it's French. I've not seen any yet, so I'm not sure. But what do you think? Because, okay, look, I'll put perspective in my shoes, right? Let's say that there was a Mercedes or a German update, right? And they added things like the Project 1 or a 500 SEC or something like that. But they put my car as a thumbnail car, which is just, you know, a run-of-the-mill E-Class. Like, it'll be funny because I'll just be like, wow, like, I'm really happy that, you know, my car is part of the thumbnail. But I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm just thinking like, they could have put in like, you know, a more maybe sport car or something more flashy, right, as a thumbnail car to bring more players in. So what do you think from your perspective? I understand it's your car, and I'm very happy for you. That's amazing. But like, in terms of a perspective of drawing players in, like, for example, people like me who have no interest in Renault, and, you know, this is an update where you have kind of one shot to bring players in to understand more about these cars, especially if they didn't grow up with them? Do you think that's the best car to put as a thumbnail?
Yeah, I can definitely see your point that it might have been better to put like a big, like sports car that people know about. The problem is, Alpine is also not a very well-known brand, so putting an Alpine as the car wouldn't really work all that much either. If they had Bugatti in this, maybe, but maybe that could work, but I'm not really sure. I know the new Renault 5 is pretty popular already here, so I think that's probably why they made it the poster car, because it's gotten a lot of attention in media, a lot of really good reviews on it and all that stuff. I think that's why they did it, but I can definitely also see your point that it might not really be the best car to use to draw in people from all over the world and not just European people.
So you said that your car has become very popular, right? It's a new car. It was released this year, 2025, and it's received rave reviews and all that kind of stuff. So what makes your car so special?
Oh yeah, well, a lot of people really like the design. I know you are not a big fan of it, but a lot of people really like the design. I really like the design. I like the color choices. I really like the yellow color. It looks fantastic in the sun. It's sitting in the sun right now. I wish I could show it. But yeah, it's got a lot of attention because of the design and because not an EV SUV number 10 billion. It's a hatchback. A lot of people have been wanting a smaller EV that isn't a giant SUV that weighs 1,000 tons. And yeah, it's practical enough for someone like me. It handles very well. I think it's a very fun car to drive. I've driven it a lot, of course, already.
I think someone said that you could have added a baguette holder. Is that true?
Yeah, you could choose a 3D printed baguette holder. I don't have one, but you could choose that, and you can customize it in so many ways. You can have a giant 5 letter on the roof of the car if you want that, and it comes with stickers that says 5 on the side of the car, just standard. It's just there. You can see it in the like every single photo of it. It's on the side of the car.
It's interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. If you have any photos of your car, you can always send them to me, and I'll post them in the video as well if you want.
Oh yeah, I have some.
Yeah.
Let
So
me see.
they actually released the stats, right, of your car in game. It's a super rare, right? RQ46 has 77 handling. How do you feel about that?
Well, if it was up to me, it would be a little more, because I think it's a fun car. I've driven it through a forest with a lot of corners and stuff, and I put it into sport mode because you can do that in a lot of cars these days, and I felt a difference in it. I thought it's a very fun car to drive. It goes. Like I've put my pedal to the metal, and it goes.
Yeah, it must be fun. Would you okay, for an electric car, would you consider it a very light car?
It is. It's like 1,450 kilograms. So it's light for an electric car. It's like 200 kilos lighter than a Mini Cooper electric, which is, I don't know how Mini managed to make it that much heavier.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a smaller car.
Yeah.
It's smaller than the Renault 5, but it weighs 200 kilos more.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, that's why nowadays there's like a stereotype. Whenever I look at an electric car, I'm just like, yeah, that's like 2,000 kilograms.
Yeah, but the Renault 5 is 1,450 kilograms, so it's pretty light. Yeah, you can feel it.
That's really light, and I can see that actually making a difference in top drives, to be honest. Especially in like electric events when everything else is so heavy around it,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's my first car, but I've had a driver's license for 5 years, so I've been using my parents' cars. And when I first got my driver's license, we actually had another Renault, just not electric. It was a big 7-seater MPV, European type car. It was called the Grand Scenic,
Okay, is that in the game?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's an uncommon. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's
It-
you know, it's nice that that your cars and your family cars they're all in the game. That's all pretty cool. I'm waiting for the
Yeah.
day when my car comes into the game, man. But if they're never
Yeah,
gonna
not
do a
all of-
Mercedes update, I don't know if that's ever gonna happen.
But not all of my family cars are in the. I also for a bit drove my grandparents' old Skoda for a bit until the engine died for a second time and it just got scrapped. That was the second engine that it was running on and it died on me. So we scrapped the Skoda and then we eventually sold the Renault and now my parents have 2 Teslas.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, yeah, I don't think that's coming to the game anytime soon. To be fair.
yeah, I don't think so either.
Why does the Renault 5 have so much soul, in your opinion?
I just think it's so very, very French in the way it's designed. Like in the headlights, there's little flags, French flags in it. There's images of, yeah, I don't know if I can say it that way on YouTube, but there's hens, you know, chicken images all over the car just because they can.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a word for it, for male chickens, but I'm not sure YouTube would like that, so I'm not saying that.
But they're actual images of chickens, right? Not the male chicken.
Motifs of male chickens
Okay, interesting.
on the car, and the interior is also just details. For example, on the seats, the front seats, well, behind the front seats, there's a little, there's usually a storage room where you can put things in it, and there's a little flap in it, and if you pull that out and look at it, it shows every generation of Renault 5. It shows the first generation, it shows the Renault 5 Turbo, the second generation, and the new Renault 5. So there's just...
it basically pays homage to its history in the car itself.
Yeah, it's just so clear that they really cared about the history of the car and they wanted to make sure that it follows that history.
That's cool.
So there's just small details like that all over, and just the interior in general. I really like it. I bought the top trim, and when you buy the top trim level, you get yellow interior. And that fits with the yellow color that I bought for my car. I took this picture in the sun because I thought it was just perfect. A perfect shot. Just sun shining on the car.
Yeah, I see that you do have different rims on it. It looks like when you slice an orange in half, like the inside of an orange.
I think it's supposed to be like a watch, because there's like a 5 on a specific part of the rim.
Oh.
But I'm not quite sure.
Okay. But, at the end of the day, I think to prevent these kind of things, because even in my Discord server, for example, when American Overdraft was coming around, I've had some European people in my server that were like, oh, I don't care about this update. It's just a bunch of big trucks that I don't care about. And I feel like it's just natural where when a new update comes around, more people than not are just not going to have an open mind. So you had a really good message there earlier. But, okay, what do you think? Should Hutch continue doing updates the way they do? Making it, region-centric, where it's just based off a small pool of cars for a small region? Or do you think that they should do, they can do a similar update in terms of how many cars they bring to the table? They could bring 150 cars, but maybe take a little bit from France, and then take a little bit from Asia, or take a little bit from the US. Think about World Expo as an update, but a lot smaller, but more consistent. So do you prefer that, or how they're doing it now?
I would honestly prefer if it was a little bit from everywhere, like World Expo. I think that would be nice. Like maybe a themed update where it's not about region, but more theming of cars. Like, for example, if they make it maybe an update of sedans from around the world, because every region has those, you know.
or even like you know, SUVs nowadays, I guess, or even they could do a period, like a 1980s update or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
something
would
like
be
that.
really
So
cool. So you would say that you're
yeah,
in
because
favor of that, then something more, you know, less region based, maybe an era or a type.
yeah, because if you just lock it to one specific region, not everyone's gonna be happy. It's a lot easier to make a lot of people happy if it's not restricted to one region.
Damn straight, damn straight. That I can completely agree with that, and I think we finally agree on something. Well, no, I think we've agreed on many things actually in today's call. But anyway, I think that's gonna be all the time that I have for again, Malta. Thank you so much for coming onto the channel. If there's anything else that you wanna leave for the audience, feel free to say right now.
But I'm not quite sure. I had that message about keeping an open mind about cars. I think that's pretty much it. Just keep an open mind about cars you might not know. Look into them, see if they're interesting to you. Yeah, it's just don't turn it into a flame war when a new update drops with a region of cars that you don't really care about, you don't really know about.
Alright, well there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Malta, thank you so much for coming out, and I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville
Atlantic.
Blonde hair, don't care, look like Leslie Brooks. Pin up girls every